I'm going to preview the Baylor at number 16 Iowa State football game. The game will be played on October 5th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Fox. And as of right now, Iowa State's favored by 11.5 points. We will see how this spread changes, if it changes at all. And I will say, offensively for Iowa State, they run like a multiple offense, and they're more methodical when you look at them. So I'm going to apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this information that what I'm about to say about them in terms of numbers here as a team. And y'all can check out the outlook on Iowa State football in the description below to keep on the individual stats if you really want to know. They have allowed 3 sacks all year, 15 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 28.3 points per game, 163 rushing yards per game, 236.3 passing yards per game, 22 for 52 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down, 77 first downs, 10 pass breakups, 10 quarterback hurries, time possession 30 minutes 30 seconds. The 320.9 pounds is the average weight for the 2/3 deep on the offensive line. So what are some players to keep an eye on? Obviously, their starting quarterback is Rocco Becht. Number 3, 6'1", 210-pound quarterback that is a sophomore. Then is Abu Salma the third. Number 24, 5'11", 210-pound running back that is a sophomore. There's Jalen Jackson, number 12, 5'7", 280-pound running back that is a senior. There's Carson Hansen, number 26, 6'2", 220-pound running back that is a sophomore. That's the only 3 guys with on the running game wise above 100 yards rushing or more, let alone only 1 guy above 200 yards, and the other 2 are like above 100, and Jalen Jackson's really close to 200. So just let y'all know about that. So the best wide receiver is Jalen Noel, number 13, 5'10", 200-pound wide receiver that is a senior. And then it's Jaden Higgins, number 9, 6'4", 215-pound wide receiver that is a senior. Yeah, those 2 guys are the only 2 guys with 250 yards receiving or more on this season. Point blank. Everybody else below 100 yards receiving, or even 96 yards. If you go like Benjamin Brahmer, number 18, 6'7", 250-pound tight end as a sophomore. And there's Eli Green, which I would have thought he would have been more production. He's a North Dakota State transfer at wide receiver, leading receiver over there. Number 21, 5'11", 295-pound wide receiver that is a junior. There's Steve Klotz, which he did travel last game, and he should play in this game. That's according to Matt Campbell when you look at the injury report or listen to it. Yeah, I try to keep tabs on the opponent on the injury front. Number 49, 6'4", 260-pound tight end as a senior. And that's pretty much, I would dare to say, all the guys you need to know, unless you really are concerned with other guys that are below 27 yards receiving or more, under. I wouldn't worry about it. Now, defensively, I would say they're good, but not elite. And I'll explain why later. Yes, the points per game are good. 7.3. 9 sacks and 27 tackles for loss. 7 interceptions and 3 fumbles, but they do allow 152.8 rushing yards per game. And I'm not necessarily banking on Baylor getting to that mark, but that's just a supposed area. And passing yards per game, 102.5 passing yards per game allowed. Though it is dependent on the opponent. Got to keep that in mind, and they do give up explosives from time to time, so that's really most of their yards. So I'm just saying, 29 minutes 30 seconds on defense, 23 for 58 on third down, 3 for 5 on fourth down, 59 first downs, 9 pass breakups, 8 quarterback hurries. They blocked the kick this year. They run like a multiple defense, and they want to keep stuff in front of them and not get beat deep. Now, the average defensive line weight for 2-3/3 deep is 282.777778 pounds. Like, really, if you're talking about defensive end / Leo, which is our lads, which I use to keep track of the depth chart, it's reliable. 268 pounds, and for the nose tackle / defensive tackle, 301.25 pounds. Now, what are some guys to keep an eye on for Iowa State? I know Iowa State's dealing with some injuries on linebacker, which none of them I listed because they have not played that much all year or done anything. So Cooper Ebel, EBEL, number 47, 6'4" 240-pound linebacker. That is a sophomore. There's Bo Freyler, FREYLER, and I apologize if I butchered that. Number 17, 6'2" 220-pound defensive back. That is a senior. There's Malik Verdon, number 7, 6'4" 220-pound defensive back. That is a junior. Jacob Ellis, number 44, 6'1" 225-pound linebacker. That is a junior. Jeremiah Cooper, number 4, 6', 109-pound defensive back. That is a junior. John Tez Williams, number 3, 5'11" 200-pound defensive back. That is a sophomore. Carl Brezina, number 9, 6'3" 240-pound linebacker. That is a freshman. J.R. Singleton is the best defensive lineman in terms of stats on the season. Number 58, 6'2" 305-pound defensive lineman is a senior. There's Tyler Dim, number 11, 6'4" 295-pound defensive lineman as a junior. There's Dominique Orange, number 95, 6'4" 325-pound defensive lineman as a junior. Trent Jones, the second, number 89, 6'3" 275-pound defensive end as a junior. There's Miles Purchase, 5'11", number 5, 5'11" 205-pound defensive back. That is a senior. That is a senior. There's Cam Smith, number 13, 5'11" 215-pound defensive back. That's a sophomore. Ikana EZEOGU, number 88, 6'5" 270-pound defensive end. That is a sophomore. There's Chaseon James, number 19, 6'1" 205-pound defensive back. That is a sophomore. Zachary Lovett, number 0, 6'2" 245-pound linebacker. That is a junior. Kennard Snyder, number 8, 6 foot 265-pound defensive end as a junior. And that's pretty much all the guys to know. And by the way, John Klosterman, who got hurt last game, is out for this game. But he's like a backup, like defensive back / linebacker. Just to let y'all know. And there are some other defensive linemen to make mention, like Miles Indazoo, Zune, number 6, 6'4" 245-pound defensive end. That's his junior. And Joey Peterson, number 52, 6'4" 260-pound defensive end. That is his senior. So, special teams wise, the most used punter is Tyler Perkins, number 80, 5'11" 205-pound punter. That is a junior. Though they do use Chase Gilbert, number 20, 5'11" inch. Okay, I want to look at the weight real fast. Okay, now his weight is 205 pounds. Okay, as a sophomore. And I'll update that as soon as possible on my end. And really, their most used kicker is Kyle Conradi, number 97, 6'1" 200-pound kicker. That is a freshman. And I will say, going to this game, that Michael Trigg at tight end is back for Baylor. Steve Lennon, who was suspended last game, is back. Garmin Randolph is back from injury. And Campbell Barrington is back at on the offensive line. So Steve Lennon and Garmin Randolph are two huge get backs for Baylor at edge. They're the best two on the team. Now, in terms of other guys, I obviously know Jaquan Finn for this game, but at this point, it's Sawyer Robertson's team, just so you know. Now, questionable guys are like tight end Kelsey Johnson, Richard Reese, running back Chateau Reed, Lorando Snacks Johnson, which he got hurt on the first play. he was grabbing his wrist or something. And this Caden Jenkins. At one point, they did say he was back, but then they took it off and it was miscommunication. So, who knows about that situation now? Across the board, you got to play your higher on fire for this game. The pressure's on Iowa State. They're undefeated. They're ranked. You're not. And the last 2 games have been tough. 1 possession losses apiece. And there's another thing you got to do across the board. You've got to start faster. I mean, not get down so much too quick. Because if you're like down 10-0 against Iowa State, or 17-0, or 17-7, forget about coming back on this Iowa State team. They're not going to. They're going to just sit back and just let everything else happen in front of them on defense. Yeah, seriously. You can't make stupid mistakes like penalties on a critical third down to make it either third and long on your end on offense, or third and long becomes a first down because of a penalty on you, like a pass interference, or personal foul roughing the passer, or personal foul targeting, or personal foul late head out of bounds. You can't do any of that. You got to limit your penalties. You got to limit your mistakes. And I'm not saying hope for Iowa State's mistakes either. You got to go out and play and make plays to win the football game if you can. And I don't care about the officiating either. You got to go out and make plays in general. And you got to forget the last 2 games and put that behind you and take out all the frustration on Iowa State for this game. Point blank. Now, I do think special teams wise, they did change the kicker, if you didn't notice already, from the last game. You got to be better there. You got to be. You got to punt the ball well. Don't have any mishaps like a block, like field goal, or a block punt, or allow a big return, or even a big return on a touchdown, whether it's punt return or kick return. Obviously, if you do that, that would be huge, because sometimes that hidden yardage is the difference in the game. It is. And Iowa State last game, they were in a dogfight with Iowa State. With Houston. In Houston. And Houston's one of the worst teams in the Big 12. It was 3-0, then 6-3. 6-0, then it was just 20-0 from there. And Houston did push them a little bit, but not enough to score, obviously. And they did limit Iowa State. Now on defense, and another thing across the board I need to mention: whatever you did wrong last game, fix it for this game, and whatever you did right last game, do it for this game. And you can't just start fast and then finish bad. You got to do a full 4 quarters. I'm playing good, okay? I'm playing well. Now, defensively, I would personally say you got to stop the run. You got to slow them down as much as possible. And the only way I think Baylor keeps this game potentially close, or even maybe outright win it. And I'm not saying that's a big possibility of that happening here. I don't know. I'm not saying that. So just get that. I thought in y'all's head, I'm saying more like 5%, 10%. You got to have your defense step up and create havoc for the offense and get them to 3rd and 5 and long. Longer than 5 yards. And as you can tell in terms of the pass catchers, they don't have a lot of weapons. You got to slow those 2 guys down. Of course, you don't want to give the other guys a big game or anything like that. Make it hard for them as possible. And get a pass rush. That was non-existent last game. In this game, you're going to have 2 of your better pass rushers back. And who knows about Jaquez Evans, to make mention. And if you're down some guys, you got to have some guys step up, and that's across the board on that. So I'm just speaking the truth when I'm saying this. And if you could create havoc, and if you can't get the ball, get to the quarterback bat the ball down or tip it up in the air and potentially pick it off. And obviously, you want to force turnovers. You did that last game, actually, with 2 of them. So that will be huge in all this. And do not allow big plays to happen. I mean, that's the truth. You got to limit, not just in the passing game, but the running game, too. Now, on offense, I don't know how much success we're going to really have on the ground. Yeah, I know Houston does not have the good offensive line, but still, you got to have some success on the ground, whether it's quarterback run or running backs. Your offensive line has to step up. Your tight ends need to step up and blocking, and wide receivers too. I'm just saying, it does make a difference. You got to protect the football, and I'm not going to blame Sawyer Robertson or either of those picks last week. The first one was just deflected by a defensive lineman, and the defensive lineman made a play and caught the football. The other one, he tried to force something that was not there. And it was like late in the game, trying to make a play, potentially to get a go-ahead lead. You got to find a way to win your one-on-one battles in a receiving game and try to create some explosive plays. So, and it sounds crazy that Iowa State is a good pass defense, but you have to give up explosive plays in terms of the numbers when you look at the analytics too. But it does matter. You got to find a way to do that, and take what the defense gives you also, and not try to press it. So I'm just gonna make it short and sweet here, and let's go out there, give our best shot, and see what happens. Worst case scenario, you're 2-4 before the bye week, which is, I know it's not ideal, and I know the players are frustrated with the start they have had so far. I know they are. But then you got the bye week to get better and get some of the injuries shaken off, and hopefully those guys that were suspended last game learn their lesson and not do it again. I'm just saying, because you cannot have impact guys make off the field stuff, mistakes. And all this. The pressure is really on Iowa State. Not just for the rankings perspective and an undefeated, but for Big 12 title game hopes. And you need to play play with an edge on all sides of the ball, and you got to win the turnover battle. You got time possession if you can, and try to win the field position battle too if it's really tight, because it does make a difference in the game. Because if you do get a good punt return or kick return, and we don't commit a penalty there, shortening the field up to score at least will be huge. So, and you got to make your extra points if you score touchdowns. I mean, I'm just speaking the truth. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So we might have to score like video, comment video. Really helps YouTube algorithms. So more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well.